No matter how great a player might be, winning a title will define the legacy of the individual and team forever. Achieving the ultimate goal is different for everybody, who will each have their own unique journeys to take themselves to the promised land. For some legends, it might take only 1 year to capture a title, 2 years if you're lucky, 7 years if you keep trying, even 13 years for others if you never give up. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. It will be extremely unlikely to see another team not named Golden State win the 2019 NBA championship. Kevin Durant's now on the verge of winning his 3rd title, which would tie LeBron James. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson will look to have 4 by the end of the decade, but many all-time greats in the past have unfortunately never won a title. A few stars today will also end up not winning a championship, and some will likely go down as the 5 best players in their position to not capture a ring. Here are 5 of the greatest NBA players at their position to never win a title. Starting with the point guard position. Number 5, Dave Bing, one of the most electrifying players to watch in the late 60s and early 70s, and regarded as one of the best players in Detroit Pistons history. The 6'3" point guard was a terrific scorer, averaged over 20 points for his career, put up over 27 a game for 2 seasons, appeared on 2 All-NBA first teams, made 7 All-Star teams, even finished as high as 3rd place in the MVP voting in 1971, won All-Star Game MVP in 1976, and had a very busy post-playing career. Successfully grew his business into a multi-million-dollar company and even served as mayor of Detroit. Number 4, Russell Westbrook. Perhaps the most athletic point guard the game has ever seen, now in his 11th season, on pace to average a triple-double for the 3rd straight year. We all know what he's capable of, but since the post-KD OKC era, Russ has gotten eliminated in the first round in back-to-back years. Anything short of a conference finals this season would be considered a disappointment. Now at 30 years old, relying heavily on his explosiveness, his game will start declining as he ages. Number 3, Steve Nash. Responsible for changing how the game's being played, Nash is one of the best pure point guards the game has ever seen. With his incredible vision, unselfishness, and offensive efficiency, the 2-time MVP was 1% of a field goal short of averaging 50, 40, 90 for his career, made all his teammates better, and a master at the pick and roll. The 8-time All-Star made 3 All-NBA first teams and was one of the smartest players the game will ever see. Number 2, Chris Paul. Viewed as the perfect floor general, averaging over 18.5 points, 9.5 assists, and over 2 steals for his career. As tough and tenacious a player there is, Paul made 7 all-defensive first teams. A championship will solidify his legacy. With unfortunate injuries always happening at the wrong time, Paul alongside Harden will have to play out of their mind in the postseason in order to have a chance. Number 1, John Stockton, who spent 19 seasons with the Jazz. As durable a point guard there was, it will be very unlikely for anyone to pass Stockton on the all-time assists and steals list, as he's head and shoulders above everybody else. The 10-time All-Star led the league in assists for 9 straight seasons. Never putting up crazy numbers, Stockton was always consistent and reliable. Played all 82 games for 16 of his 19 seasons. Now that's incredible. Honorable mention point guards includes Damian Lillard, who will surpass Dave Bing very soon if he ends up never winning a title, and Tim Hardaway Sr., who had amazing years with Golden State and Miami in the 90s and early 2000s. The shooting guard position. Number 5, Pete Maravich, one of the most skilled players the game has ever seen. Pistol Pete was years ahead of his time, a magician with the basketball, dazzling fans throughout his career with his lights-out shooting and exquisite passing. Played 10 seasons in the NBA, made 5 All-Star appearances, posted averages of 24.2 points in 658 games. Number 4, Tracy McGrady, who was unreal during his Magic days, could have been one of the best 20 players ever if he stayed healthy. Posted averages of over 32 points, 6.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists in 2003. One of the most talented pure scorers we ever seen. Young T-Mac had all the offensive tools, was often compared to Kobe Bryant back in the early to mid 2000s. Number 3, George Gervin. The Iceman was one of the purest scorers in the late 70s and early 80s, most remembered for his beautiful finger roll as his signature move, became the first guard to win 3 scoring titles in a row, played in 12 straight All-Star games, combining his ABA and NBA career. Number 2, Allen Iverson. The answer was the real deal, arguably the best pound-for-pound player, and as competitive a guy there was, being listed at 6 feet, 165 pounds, AI averaged over 30 plus for 4 seasons, appeared in 11 All-Star games, and a former MVP. Number 1, James Harden. If Harden's career ended today, I would have AI rank ahead of him, but based on career projections, Harden will end up the better player when it's all said and done, putting up a scoring clinic similar to the likes of Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, and Michael Jordan. The Beard will look to win his second MVP after this season. At 29 years old, Harden still has plenty of time to capture a championship. 2 of my most honorable mentions includes Vince Carter and Reggie Miller. Now onto the small forward position. Number 5, Carmelo Anthony. At the tail end of his career, it's very unlikely for Melo to win a title. As polarizing a player there is, Anthony was one of the best scorers of his generation. Despite all the negative critics, Melo without a doubt will become a future Hall of Famer. Number 4, Alex English. The most prolific scorer in the 80s, averaging over 20 points for 9 straight seasons, English established himself as the best player in Denver Nuggets franchise history. Didn't get much media coverage because of all the attention Magic, Bird, and Dr. J were getting. Number 3, Adrian Dantley, another incredible scorer who averaged 24.3 points for his career. One of his most impressive stat line, shooting 54% from the field for his career as a non-center, was a 30-plus point scorer for 4 straight seasons. Before his Jazz days, Dantley was unfortunately traded from the Lakers for Spencer Haywood. Imagine how many titles he could have had with Showtime. Number 2, Dominique Wilkins. The human highlight film was as spectacular a player to watch as there was. With his insane windmill dunks, Wilkins made 9 All-Star appearances and sadly never reached the conference finals. Number 1, Elgin Baylor. Perhaps the most tragic superstar in NBA history, Baylor is 0-8 in the NBA Finals, retired in the middle of the 71-72 season before LA finally won a title, which makes him a forgotten legend amongst the all-time greats. Posted averages of 27.4 points and 13.5 rebounds for his career. Had Elgin been born 20 years later, his acrobatic moves would have been captured on video. My most honorable mention for the small forward position includes Chris Mullin and Grant Hill. Now onto the power forward position. Number 5, Amarle Stoudemire. Stat was amazing to watch with the Suns. Had a quick first step, was the perfect big man to play alongside Steve Nash. Put up over 25 points for 3 seasons. Made All-NBA first team in 2007 and was often too quick for opposing big men. Number 4, LaMarcus Aldridge. Very consistent year in and year out, the 7-time All-Star has one of the deadliest mid-range shots we ever seen. Number 3, Chris Webber. One of the most underappreciated players of all time, C-Web had the complete package. As a very explosive power forward who can shoot, post up, pass, play off the ball, and defend. The 5-time All-Star was the heart and soul of the early 2000s Kings team, with his name often left out of the power forward conversation due to the likes of Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett. Number 2, Charles Barkley. Nobody gets bashed in the NBA more than Chuck with his 0 rings. Sir Charles was unreal, dominating guys half a foot taller than him. Can do a little bit of everything, made 11 All-Star teams, won MVP as well as All-Star Game MVP. Number 1, Karl Malone. The second leading scorer in NBA history, Malone was as consistent and durable a player there was. Averaged over 20 points for 17 straight seasons, won 2 MVPs, and appeared on 11 All-NBA first teams. My most honorable mentions include Shawn Kemp, Anthony Davis, who still has plenty of time to win a title, and Blake Griffin, who still has a couple good years left. Last but not least, the center position. Number 5, Yao Ming. One of the most influential players in the modern era, Yao's career was cut short due to injuries. Averaged 19-9, was an amazing post player, was a 25-10 guy in his prime as a highly skilled center. Number 4, Artis Gilmore. Regarded as one of the strongest big men ever, Gilmore was an All-Star in 11 of his 17 seasons as a pro. Finished with a career 59.9 field goal percentage, the highest in NBA history. Number 3, Dwight Howard. Now a nobody in the NBA, Dwight's accomplishment with the Magic will get him in the Hall of Fame. As a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year winner, the 8-time All-Star could have been better if he put in the work, but will never reach his full potential. Number 2, Bob Lanier. Finished as a 2010 guy for his career, Lanier was best known for his deadly hook shot, solid outside jumper, and outstanding rebounder. Will forever be a Detroit Pistons legend. Number 1, Patrick Ewing. The greatest player in Knicks franchise history. Despite never winning a title, Ewing's effort and passion he put into the game will always be cherished by Knicks fans. Came up short against Hakeem in '94 and always bumped into Michael Jordan in the playoffs, but will always be remembered as one of the best all-around centers the game has ever seen. Of all the great players on this list who's retired, who was most deserving of a championship? Of the current players today, which ones do you think will win a title in the future? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I love all of you. See you next time.